Hello, fellow lovers of the liminal and the weird, and welcome to another video by Liminal Spaces. Today I'm going to be looking at 10 more books that are considered psychedelic, mind-bending, trippy, sci-fi, fantasy books. But these are unique because these ones I have not read yet. These are all the novels that have been recommended to me over and over again on this channel. So these are all your choices, the weirdest stuff you've read that you would like me to read. And of course, all of this will be coming up on the channel eventually. I am going to read all of these. This video is meant as a partner with that first video I made of the weirdest books that I've read on the channel so far. This, of course, will be the weirdest books that I have yet to read that have been recommended to me by all of you, the viewers. So if you haven't seen that first video, go ahead and go back. I'll put a link to it in the description. Watch that first video and then come back and watch this one. So let's get started. Of course, these are not in any specific order, just randomly put together. So the first one that I have been recommended over and over again that I should read is The Dying Earth by Jack Vance. Now this one is unique on this list in that I have not completed reading it, but I am halfway through it. And I really am enjoying it. You guys have been absolutely right with this. This so far has been just absolutely incredible. So you can expect this coming up within the next week here on the channel. This story is about a future Earth that has, the sun has almost run its entire course. And the Earth is in the final days of its existence. And there's lots of technology. Of course, technology way far more advanced than ours here at this half-life of Earth. Cities have risen and fallen for millennia. I mean, this is a huge, huge jump into Earth in the future. And there is magic. It's kind of a fantasy novel, but there is technology there, and the technology is really interesting. And this mix of technology and magic, I think, was really mind-blowing at the time. The way that I've been thinking about this so far, from what I've read, is that these are kind of post-apocalyptic fairy tales for the end of the world. These are the fairy tales that are told right before the Earth dies, not the fairy tales that we tell now. Really incredible read. Next up is another book that I often am told that I should read and that I haven't had a copy of for a while, but I finally got one and I'm really looking forward to reading it, and that is Barefoot in the Head by Brian W. Aldiss. From what I understand, this is a post-apocalyptic story about Earth after acid wars, basically, where they've been using these chemical weapons that have made breathing the air all over Earth hallucinogenic. Yeah, after the acid war, it says on the back. This is about a person that is driving, I think, across Europe. It sounds really wild, really psychedelic, and I haven't read any Brian W. Aldiss yet, so this I've been waiting for to be my first Aldiss because it seems like it is the one that is most up my alley, according to you guys, so this is another one that I will be checking out soon. Next up is Titus Groan, Volume 1 of the Gorman Gas trilogy. I've heard really good things about this. Most of what I've heard about this is that it is a wild fantasy, that the prose are almost poetic, and that it's this kind of slow burn fantasy. I have also heard from some that it is boring. Either way, I've got to check this out. People whose opinion I really respect say that this is something that I would really enjoy. So that will be coming up eventually on the channel. Next up seems pretty obvious, but I have a tendency to jump into the stranger works by authors before I jump to their most famous. So one that I haven't read that I need to is Solaris by Stanislaw Lem. I absolutely loved the Futurological Congress, which is the only Lem I've read so far, but I've heard that this is absolutely incredible. This is also strange because this version, this translation, which is done by Joanna Kilmartin and Steve Cox, they translated it from the French. So this is a translation of a translation, and it's not the best that it could be. In the estate of Stanislaw Lem, there's a more recent translation that they approve of that I would love to get my hands on, but I don't know what's going on with the rights to this story. But the only way you can read this with the new translation is on Audible. That's the only place that I was able to find it. And actually, it was Curtis from Deep in the Reads, a friend of the channel, that really did a ton of research and was able to find that that is the only way you can read the new translation. So I'm putting this off, waiting for the new translation to actually be published in print, but I might not be able to wait that long, so I might just have to read this one. Anyway, this is about humans discovering a planet that is all covered in ocean, and there's a strange intelligence, like the ocean itself has an intelligence. Looks like a lot of fun. Next up, we're getting a little bit weird with William Hope Hodgson's The House on the Borderland, which sounds like it is some really liminal stuff. Just even trying to describe what I've heard of this plot is very difficult, but a person eventually ends up in this space between worlds, and there's a house there, and there happen to be some strange pig things there. So a lot of people that know what I love say this is an absolute must read, so I will be checking out this one soon. Next up is a book by R.A. Lafferty called Past Master. Now, I love the R.A. Lafferty that I've read so far, which is all short stories, but this guy wrote some incredible, weird short stories, and I'm going to eventually do my favorite sci-fi short stories and my favorite horror short stories, and he could very well be number one on my favorite sci-fi stories. We'll see. The first time I heard of this particular novel was when Virgil from Literally Books talked about it, and he did a review of this, and every sentence of his review got weirder and weirder as he went on. So the plot of this is there's a utopia that's formed in Earth's future, and they need somebody, I don't even know if it's Earth, there's a utopia that's formed, and they need somebody to rule this utopia. So they decide to go back in time and grab Thomas More, who wrote the book Utopia, and bring him to the future to rule over this utopia. Wild premise. It sounds like something I would really enjoy. Next, of course, we have to have a book by Philip K. Dick, and this is the book that I haven't read that I found is most often recommended to me out of Dick's bibliography, and that is A Scanner Darkly. And I don't really want to give too much of a synopsis of this because I don't know exactly. I know that it's dealing with his drug use, and it's kind of a detective novel, but it sounds really, really wild. So this is a Dick novel that I'm going to be hopefully reading pretty dang soon because it sounds absolutely incredible. Next up is an author that really kind of surprised me because I had never really heard of her before, but when I made that last video, so many people in the comments brought up this writer, and that is Doris Paserchia, and the book is Earthchild. And apparently this is some of the most hallucinogenic fantasy writing that exists out there. I know that Jake over at Pulp Mortem did one of her stories on his channel. So yeah, this is something that surprised me because so many of you said you've got to read this, you'll love it. So I'm putting it on the list and in the TBR stack so that I can read it. I have no idea what this is about. We'll read the back really quick. She called herself Ree, and she was the last human being on Earth. This was the one thing she was sure of. Because Earth was not a dead planet, not by a long way, there were all manner of strange plants and bizarre animals, and there were the blue boys who insisted they were human, but she always set fire to them. Interesting. No idea. Sounds wild. Next up is one that I am recommended over and over again. Every time I bring up anything, there's always somebody saying this novel. And the first time I heard of this novel was when Moid from Media Death Cult talked about, and that is The Voyage to Arcturus by David Lindsay. This is the second Ballantine adult fantasy novel on this list. The first was, of course, Titus Groan, and apparently this is like insane Alice in Wonderland in space weirdness, like body changes and all kinds of crazy stuff. It sounds like it is right up my alley, and one that people just the minute I say weird fiction, this is the one that's mentioned over and over and over again. Really, truly wild stuff, apparently. So this is going on the list and will be covered on the channel soon. Last up is probably the thickest read that I have been recommended, and this is also the one that I am recommended the most, even more than Voyage to Arcturus. This one comes up again and again, and that is The Book of the New Sun by Gene Wolfe. Now, as you can see, this is 4 volumes. However, I consider this one volume, as I believe did Gene Wolfe himself. He calls it The Book of the New Sun, and when he created the follow-up to this book called Earth of the New Sun, he called it a sequel to the Book of the New Sun, not a 5th book. So yeah, this is one story, but it's so thick. It's such a thick story that he broke it into 4 volumes. And yeah, this is what is recommended to me over and over again. Now, this is similar to The Dying Earth in that I have read a large chunk of this. I've read this many. So I still have yet to read the 4th book, which I should be doing very soon on the channel, and that will finish the Book of the New Sun. Now, I do understand that the Earth of the New Sun is part of this story. It is a sequel, but he didn't write it for like 10 years after this was written, so I'm going to look at this as one piece of work and talk about this as one piece of work, and then I'll read Earth of the New Sun later, and then I can talk about them all again. Yeah, this is only my first read through of them, but I've very much enjoyed it so far, so this will eventually be completed on the channel. And that is, I don't think I'm going to be able to find anywhere to put this. There. So there you go. 10 books that are constantly recommended to me that I do plan on reading. People say in the comments and every time they recommend these to me that these are some of the weirdest books in existence. So I am really looking forward to them. All right, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to click like, make a comment if you'd like. Tell me other weird books you think I should read. And if you'd like to help support the channel, go check out our Patreon, where we have videos recorded that don't end up here on YouTube, and it'll also give you access to the Discord. All right, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.